Hello, this is a 2014 Honda Accord plug-in. I'm not a reviewer and I don't make videos like this, but I'm very critical of my cars. So I thought I'd share my thoughts after having this car since about 2015 or so. It's a 2014 model. I bought it with 30,000 miles on it. And I think this is the only car we've ever owned. Hondas, Isuzu, Infiniti, Mercedes, BMW, Subaru, Chrysler. Only car we've ever owned that has not disappointed us at all. It has exceeded every expectation we ever had, and I am recording this because today, unfortunately, is the day in a few hours that Carvana is coming to pick this car up from us. We're about to hit 86,000 miles, and we personally just don't keep our cars that long. Both times we did, it didn't go well. So, when we reach 80, 90, we just, move on to the next car. So here it is. I have a friend who has 150, so I'm sure it can get there, but I'm not the one who's going to check it. So this is 2014 Honda Accord plug-in. You can see it has special front and lights that the other Accords don't. This humongo Honda sign, which unfortunately has faded, but that's not the car's fault. That's just Florida weather and wear and tear. It has the special headlights too, kind of like the Acuras. They literally look like they came off of an Acura. They have these special wheel covers that are made to reduce drag. Underneath there's a nice aluminum rim, which unfortunately you will see over here because I'm missing one cover, courtesy of Costco Tire, because it flew off and I just never went back because I didn't want to argue with them. I thought about replacing it a couple times, but they want $250 plus like another $80 for that Honda centerpiece that locks it in. So I was like, dude, I could buy like straight up Enkei raised like name brand rims for that price. So just gonna insert myself here. I mentioned the front had a unique feature on it, which was that unique front to the plug-in hybrid and the wheels being unique, and I forgot to mention the rear bumper. Instead of an exhaust or two exhausts in the V6 or a regular bumper thing like on the regular Accord, it has this chrome lip, I guess, at the bottom, and this kind of, I guess, aggressive looking black part, maybe. I don't know. It looks okay. It's nothing too fancy. There's the exhaust right there. You hear the Honda in the background showing its dominance. You hear that revving the shit out of itself. And so here it is on the back. It has that unique bumper at the bottom, plus the plug-in hybrid logo. Instead of saying hybrid like a normal Accord, it has a little plug in there for plug-in hybrid. And also on each side of the car, there's a plug in the logo, which is just a nice touch. So I'll give it back to you, myself. There's a plug. There's a gas. It has keyless access. You hit this little plug icon, boop, and the plug opens. And man, I just love this car. And I really do not want to be selling it, but we bought a 2021 Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. As you can tell, we like plug-ins and electricity. And man, this car has just been great. It's so well balanced. It drives almost like a sports car, really, when the battery's charged, or if you have it in HV mode, which mixes the engine and the battery. And I think that's in part to the fact that there is a battery in the back, and you can see this is a tiny trunk for an Accord, like tiny. And because the battery there's a battery in the rear, it's so well balanced, unlike other Accords and other sedans, because there's weight in the front from the engine, but there's also some weight in the back and the battery stabilizing the rear, especially in sharp corners, which this does corner very well. And I have a M Sport BMW, and those things handle pretty good. This is up there for a front-wheel drive car. You can see some damage here, big oopsie. I think the best part about this car, the second best thing after the gas mileage, which I'll get to, is the fact that it doesn't look like a hybrid. It just looks like a normal Accord. So you're not breaking the wrong kind of necks. Not the good necks when you see a Ferrari. I mean the necks where they're like, oh, what is that? Like when you see a Leaf. or like an Insight. Like, it just looks like a normal, and maybe even fancier than normal Accord. So you never have to worry about people looking at you like, ugh, what the hell is that, you know? Priuses. Anyways, that's just my honest opinion. And this is a little damaged, it's a little loose. I don't know how that happened. Probably from the freeway, something hit it. I don't know. But now on to the gas mileage. I'm sorry about the wind. The seats are a little dirty, but it's okay. I have consistently, for the entire time that I've owned this car, with a plug is included, is necessary for this mileage, is 50 to 55 miles per gallon, no matter what. Excuse the dust in here. I don't know if it'll show it. Okay, so this has been a little bit of a weird week. 35, 132, 82. That's not right. I have gone consistently 55 miles per gallon, and I don't drive like a grandma. I really don't. I have eco mode on, which keeps the air a little lower than usual. But even without eco mode, like, eco mode doesn't, it's like a lot of people have a conception that eco mode means magic. No, dude. I mean, when you hit eco, you're not replacing that 4-cylinder with like a 1-cylinder. It's the same engine. It's just slightly less, you know. It just cuts back on the throttle a little bit and the air conditioning a little bit. And you can actually hear it if I hit the eco off. You hear that? It went up, the air went up a little tiny bit, and I'm gonna do it again. The air went down a little tiny bit. So the most gas mileage I ever got in this car was 70, which is ridiculous. It has a 10-gallon tank, which means I went 700 and I believe 701 miles before I hit E, before I was completely out. And yes, I did have to turn the air conditioning off, and I was crapping myself because I really did not think I was going to make it home. But I did, and I made it home 701 miles on one tank. Now, that is a little extreme. That's like the first generation Insight, when people used to turn the air conditioners off and use that special mode, what's it called, like afterburn or something. You know, it's a little extreme. But 55 without even trying. Now, worst case scenario, you can see here, when the battery was depleted, the worst mileage you can get is 35. The fact that 35 is the lowest you can get is insane. So you're in just a city with no battery at all. Start, stop, and you will not go under 35. And the best part about it, unlike a Pacifica, which I bought and did not know when I bought it, but whatever, it's doing my job well. What I didn't know about the Pacifica is that you can't do this. You see a little EV sign right there? You can't do that. See, I put in HV charge mode, which means you hear the engine right now. Let me turn the air off so you hear it. You hear that little rumble? It's charging the battery as we're sitting. And you can keep charging it while we're driving. As you can see, I haven't charged it today, so we're only at 0.8 miles of EV range. But it's so great. So you can leave it auto. So right now we're stopped, so it's using electricity. Excuse me. We can put it in HV. By the way, it's all controlled by this little button down here underneath the gear selector. So put in HV, and now it'll keep the battery at this level. So it'll use battery and engine as you keep moving and keep that level. Or you could hit it, press and hold it, and enter charge mode. Now it'll charge the engine, and charge the battery. It'll use the engine to charge the battery, which I think is inefficient when you're stopped like I am right now. But when you're on the freeway and you put charge mode, it'll charge within 5 miles. Like, you won't even know it, and your battery will be halfway full, you know. What else is nice is that this has some nice, like, the gauges, the whole experience here is really good. Like, this big speedometer. In the middle, you can get, let me get the stabilizer. In the middle, you can get the EV time elapsed, which I never have or will use. Average speed, this is useful. Let me see if I can actually drive like a few feet to show you this. So it'll like give you an animation of what's being used, which, you know, is nothing fancy like a Tesla animation, but it gets the point across. So there we are. I just literally back into the spot I'm in. Service due. Oh yeah, by the way, the ACC at the top is adaptive cruise control, which is great. And it does have a brake warning too. It flashes that little orange light in your face and tells you to brake. This is a good one. Let's see what else there. So this is the good one. As you drive, this will stay even. Even is good, but as you go, it'll turn blue. Like the harder you drive, letting you know visually that you're not driving efficiently. And here's a key cycle of what mile per gallon you've gotten. It's the same thing that's up there, right there. So you see, last time I was running without battery and I was still getting 30 something miles per gallon. This is current miles per gallon. It stays at like 199 as long as you're on battery, and then as you use gas it starts to drop, but it'll never go under 50 as long as you got battery, or under 35 even if you're completely out. Again, the EV range screen we were at earlier. There's also this nice bar, charge and power. So as you're charging, the green, you know, when you're braking, and as you power, your power, it'll go up blue. And what's cool is you see these little 2 green circles, that and that, around the dashboard. They turn blue when you're driving it efficiently, which is nice. So like a visual reminder, hey, I should ease up on the gas a little bit. Steering wheel is nothing special. Ignore the dust. Again, we just barely drive this car. That's why we're selling it. Little audio when the video cut out, I turned audio on and my music started blasting. If you saw that too short, that's what's up. And the trim didn't go so well. This trim, I don't know what that is. It's probably my mom. I'm always telling her, Mom, you cannot use certain chemicals in cars, and she doesn't listen. So the chemical probably ate the trim. Same thing over there. Don't do that. Just use water-based stuff. Don't use strong chemicals in a car, especially the interior. And so, you know, navigation, all the controls are down here. Navigation, phone. It's not the snappiest system like you just saw right there. Like, watch this phone. Or this is navigation. It takes a second. One of the best features that other cars don't have is this turn signal thing, which will light up the camera on the turn signal. It looks like it's flickering on my phone, but trust me, it's not flickering. That's just the way the camera is. So, like, when you start turning, it turns on. It's so great. But there's some nuances, like say I'm in info and I want to see my trip computer. Every time I hit the turn signal and I come back, it's back here. Like, it doesn't default back, you know? It's a little annoying. And then this back seat, you know, it survived okay. Other seats are okay. The driver's seat's significantly worn though. Like, it's not looking that good. But it is almost 86,000 miles, so I'll give it that. Here we have the plug button that opens the plug. Lane departure warning, traction control if you really want to get them skiddy boys. The eco button. It's just a normal Accord. I mean, it's just a normal Accord. There's some differences, like the seat is manual, I'm guessing to save weight. The sound system's okay. It's nothing fancy. I think this car did have an option for fancy sound system. No sunroof in any of these models, and they only made 1,000 of them, so you probably won't see many. I forgot, there's like a place you can see which number it is. I think we have number 430 something. And yeah, you know what, I'm gonna take a small circle with you guys. Let's do it, because this car is just, you know, I'm gonna miss it a lot. We're all gonna miss it at the house. So let's just do like a little circle around the community. This is on electric right now, as you can probably hear. There's nothing going on. Let's go. I mentioned the car being super balanced earlier because of the weight in the front and the rear. It is so agile, especially for a hybrid. It's like borderline sporty. I mean, it's you see the steering is super direct, even though it's electronic. You trust it. You trust it. It's the best steering you could probably get in a hybrid. And I know some people be like, oh, BMW i8, BMW i3. I'm one of them. I love BMWs, but dude, i8 is really overpriced. i3 is really overpriced for what it is. And i8, dude, it costs like $120,000. And my BMW 340, F30 340, if you're a car guy, you know what that is. it demolishes it, dude. It absolutely annihilates, sends it home crying, and it only cost me like 25 grand. So why in the hell would I pay that much for a car that slow? Anyways, if it's a Bentley and it's that slow, or Rolls Royce, that's a different story. We're talking about an i3, dude. I mean, i8. It's made of recycled materials. I'm not paying $130 for recycled materials. Anyways, here we are. Very quiet, very smooth. Again, I'm gonna miss this car a lot. You can see I'm getting 41 miles per gallon right now, and the battery is pretty much depleted. I mean, it's completely out. Now I'm just gonna go straight here. Oh yeah, and look at the little power bar on the left side. Let me see if I can get in on that. Right there. You see that as we accelerate, as we brake. It's really awesome. You get a visual representation too, like right there. There's a dude walking his dog. How's it going? Let me show you guys that visual representation. Excuse my hairy arm in your face. All right. So, see that right there? Like, it tells you to slow down. Like, it shows you that, hey, you're pushing that pedal too hard right now. You need to go easy on it. And the whole dashboard will turn blue instead of green, letting you know, hey, you know, you're wasting gas right now. Think about the polar bears. Think about the penguins. And there's a live reading right here too of what's going on. Oh, I didn't show you. You can also get the active display that shows you where the battery's going. I don't think I showed you guys that yet. Excuse my ultra close-up of the steering wheel. There it is, vehicle energy. So now you have two. On the left you can do navigation or whatever it is, and on the right you can see battery level and what's the engine or the battery, what's being used, what's being charged. Again, excuse my dust. I'm not a reviewer. I'm not trying to sell you this car. I just love it so much that just getting in my last ride with it before they come at 4 p.m. and it's 1:37. Got my camera here. I'm going to take some nice photos of it before it goes. Carvana actually offered me a great price. Hey, I'm selling it anyways. You know what? So I'm just going to tell you guys. I got it for $16,000 in 2015, I think. Yeah, like late 2015. I added like 50,000 miles to it. And Carvana is coming today to take it off my hands for $13,000. So it's only depreciated $3,000 after all the wear I've put onto it. I'm not sponsored by Carvana in any way. I'm not an associate employee, anything like that. They just offered me a really good price. So, which is weird because they completely lowballed me on my BMW and my Subaru. So I don't know what the deal with that is, but you know, it is what it is. They must have their algorithms or whatever. And you know, it's just it's a nice quiet ride. I mean, we're just enjoying, just chilling like a villain. You know how it'd be. You know what? Let's put the charge mode on, so we get the worst case scenario for noise. So now the engine is running, and you can tell it's still so quiet. Like, this car is very very good sound deadening. Excuse the blurry frame. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my DSLR to cooperate. I mean, they're not really meant for videos, but it wouldn't cooperate, so I'm using my iPhone, and it keeps trying to focus on this dashboard when I'm looking over there. And so, you know, it's just it's a nice ride, and it's got some pickup too. So here we are. I really shouldn't be doing this in the community, but let's go. As you can see, it gets up to speed pretty fast. You know, it's not slow by any means. And you heard a little bit of engine noise. You heard it go. Oh, it's normally not like that, but you know, the battery's depleted right now, so it's gotta use its guts. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know who you guys is, because I don't really do YouTube like that, but whatever, you guys, whoever you is who is watching this can enjoy it. So I'm gonna miss this car. See you guys.